What's up, guys? Welcome back to another HERR Lounge podcast. Here we are again. I'm so excited to be able to get back on the mic. Like, you have no idea. I really missed it. Like, I had nobody to talk to while I was laying in bed. So it's really fun to be back on.
Just contemplating life.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, I have so many things. I have all these like topics. I think, I text you about them. I was like, I think I want to do this. I want to do that. That's what,
They're all great.
Exactly. So they're all things that you do while you're just laying in bed trying to recover. So I'm good to go now.
The ladies and the one dude are going to love them.
Yeah. Oh, Gabe. Gabe's my G though. That's one of the 1,000 true fans. He's one of the 1,000 true fans, bro.
Read my mind.
He is like, shout out to Gabe for real. He comes to every event. And Cardenas crew too.
Yep.
She's a real hardcore fan as well. So I appreciate people like that. I appreciate everybody that listens to it. Don't get me wrong. But the people who interact so much more, I remember them because I remember their names and, you know what I'm saying? I see them more and they're at, they attend things. So obviously you start to create a different relationship to where when you don't see them, it's almost like, where have they been? Yeah. How come they're not on? You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. So I appreciate that. I finally remember, this is going to be really crazy before we get into everything else. Do you know one time when I like had a brain fart and I couldn't remember why I was talking about SNET?
Yes.
Okay. The other day I remembered.
That was like 3 months ago.
Exactly. This is awful. My friend posted a reel about a mom talking and she's like babbling. And then she's like, I don't even know what the point of this was because I totally forgot what I started. That's me a lot of times because this mom brain really is a thing. And I used to think it was bogus when my ex-business partner used to tell me that after she had her kids. I was like, quit making up excuses. Just get it together already. Why are you making your children an excuse?
You were harsh before having kids.
Totally. I was one of those. I really was. But Asanette, who was one of my Zumba students as well, she's also a really big supporter as well. She's one of our Patreons as well. And
nice.
So speaking of Patreon, guys, don't forget, check it out. We get a lot of exclusive things, starting with my ladies who are on the Patrona tier. I've only received, from what I see on Patreon, I've only gotten one person to DM me private message me their address. But don't forget, guys, until I figure out all the vendors for the entrepreneur box, you guys are getting the mystery box that's for sale on HERR Apparel. Mm-hmm. It's valued at $110. Folks get it for $50, but you guys, because y'all are my patrons and also we're not done finding all the vendors, you guys are getting it for the month of September. So please don't forget to send me your address. I want to ship them all out by Wednesday so that you guys have it. I was hoping by today so that you guys really had it by the 1st of the month, right? Because that's kind of how it is.
Yeah.
But I haven't gotten everybody's.
And that's through Patreon. The messages are through Patreon.
Through Patreon. Please send me your address and then your size, because I need to know that, obviously, to know which mystery box to send you. And I'm excited about it, to be honest with you. When I was looking at it, I was like, I would love it if somebody just like, I would buy something like this, but I guess
those videos, like the content for the mystery box, shout out you and Ilse were doing, pretty cool.
Shout out to Ilse, which I'm gonna have her on in September, because this is gonna be a Patreon episode, though. Cool. Maybe.
Okay.
Only because she's gonna have a workshop, like showing you how to like navigate social media for those who aren't ready to pay someone like to help with your content on a monthly basis and you're trying to start off a business. She has a little workshop and I think she's going to host it in September. So I figured it was a great way for her to come on, kind of talk to people about like tips on like the best ways to do things. And then you guys have an opportunity to sign up on, she's going to give our listeners a promo code so that they can log on and take the workshop and, get a discount for, being part of the HERR crew. So, I'm excited about that. So again, our mystery boxes right now are on sale. They are limited sizes, guys, because what I'm trying to do is basically make room for our new inventory that'll be coming in for the fall. Got a lot of cool stuff dropping. I'm excited for you guys to see that. And then Patreon, guys, it's growing. I know it sounds crazy, like 14 people, like that's not a lot of people, but that is a lot of people.
Hell yeah.
Being that I haven't really pushed it and I haven't really promoted it. So the ones who have signed up really have just been either from listening to the podcast or a friend. I don't know, but we've got 14 so far, and I'm really excited when I saw that number. For those who are like, where have your Thursday entries been? Okay, so I have like 3 drafts set up. And here's why, guys. Because there's 3 different subjects I want to talk about. And I don't know, like I have each one to do. But I think like, so the pictures from my birthing, I kind of wanted to do a video for it. Like kind of talking through it. Like, let me tell you, almost like this is where I was here. This is where I was here. And this is where I was here. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like, because those pictures are crazy. I feel the pain of the girl in the picture. And I'm the girl in the picture.
Yeah.
I feel her pain. Like I can kind of remember, not kind of, I can remember like what I was going through at that moment, what I was thinking and how I was feeling, which is crazy. And then I want to post 3 different pictures of my husband with 3 different phases because they're hilarious. It's almost like, what is he thinking? There's one, because we vlogged it as well, right? So that video will be put up. We haven't edited to it perfectly yet because Chingo thinks that we need to add pictures to it so that we can kind of tell. Because a lot of it's me going from where I'm groaning because I'm in so much pain.
Was this on the toilet or off the toilet?
Off the toilet. He's like, I don't think they need this much groaning in the video. We need to edit some of that out. I was like, yeah, I know. But it's funny because there's one where he's standing like this, like leaning. If you're not watching this, let me just kind of describe it. So he's leaning. The camera is sitting on my nightstand on a tripod. And it's almost like he's looking like, is this a good angle? Let me see. Like legit. He's like looking into the little mini screen that my camera has to see, like, it's almost like I can tell his thoughts, like, you know. And then there's another one where he's like thinking like this and he's got his hand on his chin. I'm like, what were you thinking? He's like, I don't know. Like, damn, I can't do anything to help her. It's got to suck to be her. I'm like, geez, really, Pete? This would be you.
Are you sure it wasn't him saying, man, I'm about to be 42? Yeah. I'm having a baby?
Exactly. So, you know, all those things. So yeah, real quick, don't forget, log on to, if you're not on Patreon, please be sure to check it out. That's www.patreon.com/HERR Lounge Podcast. Guys, check it out. Be a part of the community. A lot of exclusive stuff on there. And I know I haven't been posting a lot, but my journey has literally now begun because I got the okay from the doctor. So
you're 100% cleared.
So he said, obviously, the same way that although when I went live, I got different feedback from people like, no, take your time. You feel good, but don't forget, you're also sewn in from the inside. There's different layers that get sewn. I think it's like 4 layers. But doctor said that when I went to go see him, I said, when can I start working out? He said, yesterday. Because I was 3 weeks when I went to go see him. After 2 weeks, you're pretty much cleared, he said, to kind of like do whatever. So he said,
you know what? I don't want to interrupt you, but I don't think the doctor knows how Marisol works out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's expecting like pink and purple dumbbells, maybe a couple of lunges here and there. He don't know what you be doing. So
this is where I'm going. So he said, obviously you're not going to be doing CrossFit because he thinks CrossFit is like
the worst,
hardcore. He's like, I don't know how anybody does that. Because whenever I was, we were talking about working out, he's like, as long as you don't do CrossFit while you're working out, he's like, that scares me. But, you know, I let women, if that's what they do, that's how their body works, they're used to it, then it's going to work out. It's going to be fine. He's like, but those movements, because he's into working out too.
Yeah.
He doesn't agree with those movements, the jerking of the bones and, you know, all that. So he said, you have to, obviously, you can't go in there trying to lift 50 pounds. He's like, same way you did with your pregnancy, you felt it, right? You knew if you could lift something, if you couldn't lift something. He's like, you're going to have to pace yourself as well. So my Patreons will be getting, obviously, exclusive. You know, I'm not ready to post those before pictures to the world yet, to my 26, whatever number of followers. But I'm
IG?
On IG, but I am okay with the 14 women who are, you know, or I'm sorry, it's, how many are there?
I think it's like 14 on Patreon.
No, I know, but it's only the chingonas and the patron and the patronas they get. So whatever those 2 tiers are, They're the ones that get it, right? Or is it just Patronas that get it?
I'd have to look again. I don't remember.
Damn, I don't remember. But whoever is on those tiers, you guys will be able to see this before.
The exclusive.
The exclusive. And trust me, this is the most vulnerable I've ever been, because there's no freaking way I would ever let anybody see a picture of what I'm looking like right now, because I look at myself in the mirror and I just cannot look at myself long enough before I just jump in the shower and I'm like,
cry.
Yeah. Low key. And then after that, I start thinking to myself, damn, Soleil, I don't know if you're going to get breast milk, my G. Like, I don't know if you're going to get breast milk for a year the way your sister did. And then I started going, as I'm washing my hair, I started going through the guilty feel like, damn, that's not fair to her. You're so selfish. You know what I'm saying? You're just thinking about yourself and, wanting to be back to normal. And it's just like, I finally, so I have donor's milk. Finally, my midwife came and dropped off some more donor's milk. I am not the same issue I had with Penny. I'm not making enough milk. As you can see, I'm eating the lactation cookies right now. I was reading this other thing where I think it's called body armor drinks. I think it's the electrolytes, and it's like a few of the things that are in there that help with producing milk. I don't even know if it's true, but I got on this mom's group that my midwife told me about, where you can buy, or some women donate breast milk and they're looking for people who are needing milk. And so you kind of post on there what you're wanting, what you're needing, etc. I was on there and there was one lady asking for advice, and a bunch of people just started posting like, this is what I took, this is what I took. So literally, like on Friday, I wanted some like alone time with Penny, right? And so I went and got my eyelashes done to start putting myself back together, and I said, come on, Penny, we're going to Target. So I went to Target and I got the body armor drink. I got the lactation cookies. I like made some more like of the energy bites. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I've got to get my supply up because I was out of the donor's milk. So I was like, I make enough to feed on demand, right? But I don't make enough to store. Like I showed Pete this picture of a lady, and maybe you can zoom in on it, Rob. I don't know if you can.
In post, sure.
And, bro.
Well, your camera's right there in front of you. You can point it up at it. Is it, are we getting some R-rated visuals here?
No. I'm going to show you how much milk someone can make. Is it right here?
Oh, damn.
Rob, she's getting rid of it.
Is that in her freezer?
Yes.
I have a friend that's like that.
Oh.
She's got bags, or she had bags and bags of it when she had her baby.
I'm so jealous. I would do anything to be able to produce that. Do you know how much that would help me? Because that means I don't have to sit here and actually feed my child. I can go do things that need to be done. So having that donor's milk really helps me. Like, for example, that other day I told you, like, what did you, I wasn't kidding when I told you all I did today was breastfeed. Every time she gets up to feed, I do that, right? And I've tried the power pumping, as everyone says, where you do like 20 minutes, you wait 10 minutes, and you come back, you pump 10, you wait 10, you pump 10, and it's like a power pump. And it's to help your breast think that it needs to keep producing. So I'll produce, but I'll make 2 ounces on one boob and like another 2 on the other, which is only 4 ounces, which is still only one feeding for her. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not making. And it's frustrating, trust me. And I'm sure me stressing about it doesn't help either.
I was going to say.
Yeah. So that doesn't help either. But back to going in the shower, these are the things that I think about, because I don't want it to be unfair to Soleil that, you know what I'm saying, her sister got all this like natural and, you know what I'm saying, like organic way of living because she was my first child. And, the thing is, I've documented on the internet. So it's not like I can lie to her and say, no, I didn't do that. It's a lie, because I've documented me making Penny organic food. You know what I'm saying? Like blending.
I promise you, people that have had multiple kids, the first one gets everything, and then the second, third, the follow, everything else is just like the hand-me-down stuff. They're like, okay, you're gonna get the easier process because we're not doing that for everyone.
I know. I feel bad for her though. Like Sunny's picture for her first month. Oh, when Penny was born, I had like all her cute outfits ready for what picture for month 1, 2, 3, 4 was gonna be like. Okay, Soleil just got her one little outfit the other day, and that's just because I happened to go to Target the day to go get the lactation cookies, and I was like, let me get her a little outfit for her 1 month photo. You know what I'm saying?
You also got to keep in mind the time the babies were born, right? Like she's coming into the world after quite a crucial, like trying, stressful time. Mm-hmm. You can't expect to have the exact same outcome as well just because, whoa.
Sorry, guys, I just hit my coffee cup. Which are also available on chingobling.com,
I was going to ask, what
guys.
Is that? What does it say?
So they say, inhale the good shit, exhale the bullshit. This was when we started Cafecito Time during the pandemic. So we sold these. These sold out. They did pretty well. People were feeling the Cafecito Time.
Yeah.
I think everybody was kind of lonely and needing something to do.
Sure.
So this is we started doing Cafecito Time, and it was funny when Pete approached me about it. Oh my God, I hit it again. Sorry, y'all. He said, so I kind of want to steal your idea. A long time ago, I told him I want to start having live sessions called Cafecito Time because I'm such a coffee drinker. And so he was like, what? I was like, so I think I want to steal your Cafecito Time. I was like, okay, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? It was nobody's to begin with. It was just an idea I had.
Yeah. And
I obviously never executed, and you are. So, you know, he's like, but I want us to do it together. Like we go live. He's like, get people to interact and so forth. And so I was like, all right. So that's where that came from. So this is how we would start the beginning of it. You know how I do a positive quote, which I haven't done. Let's do that real quick while we're on subject.
I like it.
On subject, off subject. If I put my mind to it, I achieve it. And I'm going to tell y'all why that was my quote today. If I put my mind to it, I achieve it. Remember that, guys. All right.
It's true.
So
I've done it for a while now.
So anyway, that's how these came about. They're on chingobling.com. Not very many left. And it does say the blings on the back, hashtag Cafecito Time.
I like it.
So they're pretty dope, right?
Yeah.
I liked them. So, so we were talking about, oh yeah. So yeah, you're right. Hand-me-downs and all that for, you know, the second baby. I get it. I just don't want to be unfair to my kids. You know, like,
what's fair though? Like you're being really hard on yourself.
But my mom was my parents were good about, I don't know what it was like when she was born, right? Because I don't remember my sister.
Oh, your sister.
Like, you know, anything. But once I remember us being like grown, like where I start having memories of my sister and I together, they were really good about like fairness between us. So because we went to church every Sunday, my mom would buy us a new dress every Sunday to go, because we went to church twice on Sunday, guys, in the morning and then in the evening. I know.
Explains a lot.
So, so we would go to the mall. And if you're my age, then you remember Piccadilly. It's a Luby's, but it was called Piccadilly. The best. So we would go there on Sundays after church, eat at Piccadilly's, and either we'd go to Montgomery Ward, Mervyn's. Okay, Rob, you have a blank stare, so you don't know any of these stories.
I remember Mervyn's. Mervyn's.
Which were all at the mall, right? And so we would go get new clothes like for church that evening. So it'd be a new dress, new pantyhose, new pair of shoes, right? But let's just say one of us was going to get more, like, let's just say my mom saw more cute things for my sister that day. Mm-hmm. So she'd be like, and I ain't gonna lie, I was a little spoiled brat. I'd be like mad as fuck because it was my sister's turn to get. So she'd be like, okay, today your sister's going to be the one to get more things than you know, but you're still going to get a dress, right? But she's going to probably get a few extra stuff because I saw some things that I like for her. So it was like that, right? And so I appreciate that my mom did that. Like I never felt like favored over the other, you know, although I always kind of felt like she sided more with my sister. Like, you know, she was more spoiled. She didn't have to do half the things that I had to do growing up, you know? So I remember those things. So I don't want to do that to Penny either. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, you're the oldest, you have to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because that was, if you're the oldest, you've heard that 100 times.
Yeah.
Well, you're the oldest, you have to. And it's like, but wait, I didn't ask to be the oldest. Hold up here. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to put that pressure on Penny, but she is the oldest.
Yeah. And the youngest always got privileges too. Like the youngest was always more spoiled.
Yeah, totally.
Was always kind of babied more. That's kind of the perks of it. But also like they both come with their own kinds of pressures. And I feel like, you know, pressure makes diamonds. Like they're going to be their own kind of diamonds.
Yeah, that's a good point. So I'm just trying to not feel guilty. Should I not go a whole year breastfeeding Sunny? I want to just be okay with the idea if she only gets 6 months versus
Are you
the
okay
year.
with it now?
I'm not right now. That's what I'm saying. I want to be okay with it. Now,
ladies, if I DM her and tell her it's okay.
If I find a donor or I'm able to find someone who I can buy milk from, I told Pete, I said, I already know that I'm only going to be a comfort feed for Sunny. Meaning I will probably only feed her at night. I will probably feed her when I'm home and I'm able to put my boob in her mouth. So I will be a comfort feed because I know that she's getting formula. Like I know she's not getting formula. And guys, I trust me, there's nothing wrong with formula because I have formula. So I still have to supplement with it when I don't have donor's milk. So don't think that I'm like thinking nothing against it. But the same way that I like to put good food in my body, I want to do the same for my kid. And so it's almost like, have you ever seen a mom que anda bien arreglada, but the child looks like she just got out of bed? It's like, wait a minute, so if I'm going to feed myself, organic or, what I'm saying, feed myself like good food, I want to feed my children good food as well. So that's just my point behind it. So there's nothing wrong with formula because obviously I do have it, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like I don't, but it's just my preference. Just like some people prefer to, do whatever they do. So it's just me. And I know that it's probably just being hard on myself trying to find it. But I know that if I find a donor who's going to be consistent with it, right, for however long it is, I'm more than positive I'm about to go hard on getting back to my old self.
Just think of it this way. Like, think of the way that Penny was born versus the way that's
Sunny was born.
Yeah. What do you call her more? How do you, Soli or?
Sunny. Either I say Soleil or Sunny.
Soleil.
And Jimena too.
Jimena.
Yeah. We do all three. It's funny. His sisters were asking the same thing. Like, so what do we call her? I don't know. Like, his sister's name is Dalila, but they call her Edith too. So it's like, it's whatever comes out of my mouth. Like, come on. When she's giving me a hard time, like, come on, Jimena. Yeah. I don't know why that's her when she's in trouble. But then whenever I'm like, oh, good morning, Sunny. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I'm talking to her in the morning, I have no idea why. But
well, just think like, Penny, home birth, natural, Sunny was in the hospital, C-section, I guess kind of an emergency C-section, you would consider it. They're just going to have different,
Yeah, because I know for a fact, like there's just a lot of differences. Like she's probably going to be like, well, how come Penny this, right? Like, and be like, well, because why aren't there a lot of pictures of my birth the way there is of Penny? Well, that's because yours was a C-section. And be like, you were difficult. You didn't want to come down. You know what I'm saying? When I talked to the pediatrician about this, she goes, just remember all those things that happened during your labor. She goes, and that's kind of what their personality is going to be like. And I'm thinking, oh, I don't want difficult. Hold on. Like, but she's like, no, I don't mean difficult. She's like, she knew what she wanted. So she didn't feel like coming down the way y'all wanted her. She wanted to be birthed the way she felt like being birthed. Like she didn't want to come. She wanted to be sunny side up. That's what she wanted. You know what I'm saying? And so she's like, you have to think about all those things. And it's funny because when Penny was born, that girl was born with some lungs. She was screaming bloody murder. And my midwife at the time, R.I.P. Afua, was like, ooh, she's like, she's going to have attitude. And
here we are.
She is not playing when she wants, So, it's funny how they say that. But yeah, so that's the journey I'm going to go through. I hope that I do find someone because I'll be 40 this year. And I just want to be at my best. Because I legit had children at such an older age. And I was talking to my mom about this. She's having a sciatic nerve issue. like she's had it for she's going on for almost like a month and they can't figure out, like they can't give her anything. The pain doesn't go away. So she left to that's why my mom left me. So my mom left last night. That's why I was like, oh my God, Rob, I will text you if I cannot make it in the morning, like to record, because I'm solo. My mom left me. Pete's out of town. My babysitter can't come in until late in the afternoon because she's got a doctor's appointment. I was like, this is also why this quote is why I picked it, because I told myself last night, I was like, you cannot be defeated by these two little humans. Like, you cannot let them win. Like, you are in control. Like, why are you allowing these little humans to like just make you feel like, fuck, I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? There's so much to do. My mom left. When she left last night at 2 a.m. because they took off to Reynosa. And so I said, all right, Sonny, you're asleep. I'm going to go to sleep. gonna wake up when you wake up. You can take your little ass to sleep. I have the backup milk now, so I'm good to go. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I had it all planned out in my head, and I was really proud of myself. I managed to make lunch for when P got back from out of town. I made Penny lunch. I made her homemade applesauce. You know what I'm saying? I made the bed. I started laundry. My child was fed. You know what I'm saying? I put her back to sleep. You know, I was like really proud of myself. I was like, what were you worried about? Like, you know, what were you worried about? It's really what I told myself.
Just always in our heads. We're just always in our heads.
Yeah. And so when Lisa walked in, I told you, she was like, oh, look at you, little Miss Housewife. I said, don't get it twisted, Luisa. You are a luxury. You are a luxury. Should you not be able to come anymore, we are good. You will lose your job. Trust me.
But also in the back of our head, please don't stop coming.
Please don't stop coming. Please, God, don't let another pandemic happen. But yeah. So back to the Patreon thing, guys. So you guys will get exclusive stuff. I really want to share with it. I think a lot of the women, when I was going live, thanks Rob for that challenge.
Yeah, I wanted to bring it up.
I really have liked it, and it's really been like other people have liked it. And even though there's not that, it trips me out how you can have so many followers, but you only get 50 people that will come on. You know what I'm saying? So the people have been, engaging and so forth. And even though I really haven't had a topic to talk about or anything like that, I've just been rambling. A lot of them like, hey, are you going to be documenting your journey, your weight loss journey, blah, 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 blah. I am, but it's going to be for my Patreons because it's so private. Mm-hmm. And there's some stuff that I'll be posting on YouTube, you know what I'm saying? And it's probably once I get to the smaller version of myself, because I'm not ready to expose that to like the however many subscribers I have and however many followers I have on Instagram, I think when you have a smaller little crew, and here's the thing, you know how I said that the reason I was kind of afraid to go live is because I didn't want to be ratchet and someone gets stupid and then I was going to have to get stupid back. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, right? Well, I think when you have a community, there's no one on there that's really like going to act dumb or say anything dumb. It's going to be more like, damn, like I feel you, like I would can you give me some advice on that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's going to be all of us interacting. One girl said she'd love to join like a weight loss. Like, have you thought about doing like a weight loss thing with others, you know? I haven't figured out a way that I could do that, like a weight loss challenge, like how Dana Lynn Bailey did, where she gave $10,000 to the winner or something.
So. It's like her 6 weeks.
Yeah. So I don't know how to do that. I'd have to watch her whole thing to figure out how to do a weight loss journey type thing. But she also has them like submit, like they pay like to be a member of her stuff. Yeah,
I think it's like $10 maybe.
Yeah, a month, right? And she sends them like workouts or exclusive workouts and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a Patreon, but it's through her app.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
or
just
her
website. DOB.com, I think. She has a section like a member section.
So I'd like to be able to do that with our members. I don't know how I'd do it on Patreon, but just stay tuned for that, guys. I swear to you, I've got a bunch of goodies up my sleeve. So thank you for being patient to my Patreons right now, for not getting the exclusive one thing that's missing, which is the entry of that. But I have it. Trying to figure out the best way to do it, just because there's so many ideas. My hamster won't stop going, So, but they're coming. So I'll have one up today, just because I figured I need to give them one today.
Yeah.
With that being said, today I kind of want to talk about marriage.
Ooh.
And here's why. So I know we have 2 podcasts to record, right? But so church is talking about the role, like marriage, parenting, children, you know what I'm saying? Like you as a Christian and so forth, right? And this is not Christian related, right? But one thing that the pastor said yesterday while we were watching was that he said which is true, you have to weed and plant, right? So you weed out your shitty stuff in your relationship, and then you plant good things back into it, right? And so he was just talking. He gave a communication type story. Now, mind you, he's an older man. So if you're from Houston and you've ever watched Dr. Ed Young, he's been around forever, right? So he told this story because he's remarried. His wife passed, right? And he just had that speaker that, I don't know if Chingo told you about him. What's his name? He's the Black's brain surgeon. What is his name? Son
West? Was it?
No.
Oh my God! Yeah, we talked about it on the podcast.
Yes, he had him as a speaker.
Yeah.
At the church, and so that was really good. One thing that he said before he started his sermon was that he thought Dr. Ed Young was going to pass when his wife passed, because you know how usually when you're attached to the hip like that, you've been together so long.
I have a broken heart.
Yeah, exactly. So he was like, but obviously God had other plans for him, so he's still here. So he's remarried now. From what I hear, he's got a younger wife. I don't know how much younger. I'm not saying she's in her 20s or anything like that,
hey,
right?
Shout
but I don't
out.
know. I don't even know what she looks like. I've never seen her. But anyway, they went on a trip. And he was saying to what they call their paradise, right? So he said that they got there. They go to Costco to get all the goodies for their, townhome and so forth. And then so he's like, they pull up, and so she's like, "You have the keys, right?" It's just like, "No, you said you were going to grab the keys." She's like, "No, you said you had the keys. You were going to grab the keys." So no one grabs the keys. Now it's dark outside, right? Because they've been traveling. They went to Costco. They're on the porch of their condo. They call the property manager. The property manager's not answering. So they're kind of like mad at each other, right? Because it's your fault. No, it's your fault, right?
Yeah.
So now they're sitting there, and he says that they kind of like just finally laughed about it. And then he said, I forgot what happened, but point of the story was, it's like they saw this little window that could possibly be a window they could open. And so first she tries to help him get in. His shoulders are too wide for the window. So then it's like, all right, let me push you in there. We're talking about these older, I mean, they're older for them to be climbing and doing shit. That's all I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, y'all are kind of old. Who's finna fall and break a bone and not be exactly. But he gets up. He pushes her up. She's able to get in. They open the door. So anyway, it's about communication and how sometimes, you just have to have that communication, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes it doesn't happen, so forth. So just in marriage, that is how it is, right? And then the other day I kind of told you guys that I had read this post that said, do you ever feel that sex is a chore after having children with your husband? There's just so much to do, blah, blah, blah. And maybe because I love my husband, I don't not desire him. It's not a chore to me. I hate that we you know what I'm saying? I hate that I'm still not able to be intimate with my husband. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm counting, I know he's counting down. I'm counting down too. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those things, So it's like when I read that and she said, it feels like a chore. It's like, okay, I can see when I'm tired, how it's kind of like, yeah, today you're probably, if I weren't like in my situation, I can see where I'd probably be like, yeah, today's not probably the day that's going to happen for us. But tomorrow's a new day, right? Because there's too much going on today. I'm tired, blah, blah, blah. But I can't say that out of the 7 days out of the week, I feel like, you know what I'm saying? God, he's going to want to have sex. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be honest. I can't say that I feel that way. Again, maybe it's because I love my husband. I enjoy being intimate with him. So I don't feel that it's a chore. But I can see where on some days it can feel like, yeah, I don't feel like it today. Like, there was too much happening. I'm tired and a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So sorry. I don't know what you're going to do, but not me.
Attitude and all.
Yeah, exactly. So I just thought it was interesting. And I just thought it was interesting, all the comments made by a lot of the moms, that follow this person. And it's like a big account. So it's not like she's a verified person, I guess, just because she's a blogger and all that, And I was reading the comments and I was like, wow, there's a lot of women out there that feel like that. You know what I'm saying? Like they feel like it's a chore to have sex with their husband. You know what I'm saying? And I'm wondering, was it a chore? Because her post was after children. It started to feel like that, right? But is it after children, or was there already feeling like it was a chore before, where it wasn't happening as often, into where it was like already the intimacy was already kind of like fading to where it was like, yeah, it would happen here, it happened there. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of think about that. All right, guys. So here is the question for everybody. I told Rob, this is what we're going to talk about. He's like, oh, you're about to heat up some people. Yeah. So here we go. So yesterday I see that she put a new post, and so I read her blog, and she said her and her husband are splitting. And I thought, okay, that makes sense. That's the reason her last post was like, this feels like a chore. Well, come to find out, guys, they were best friends before they ever became romantic, right? So they were a friendship. The friendship turned into romance, and then they got married and they had children, right? And she said they're still best friends. They're going to part ways, right? They're still going to live in the same household to be able to raise their children together so that their kids don't grow up in a single parent home, right? Mm-hmm. And they still go through the same regular routine, like the same
structure.
The same structure where they wake up, dad does this, mom does this. They don't want any of that to be different. They will be sleeping in separate quarters of the room, basically. Like, he's in one room, she's in another room. But she discovered why she wasn't intimate or no longer desiring to be with her husband and why it was a chore. And it was a TikTok video that made her realize that she liked women. And I was like, whoa.
He feels like a real loser right now.
Now, there's nothing wrong with if you discover you like women. That's not where I'm going. I was like, I was not expecting that. That wasn't what I thought she was going to say. I thought she was going to say, I realized I'm no longer maybe like physically attracted to him. I'm no longer, what I'm saying? I thought that's where it was going to go. I swear to you, I didn't think it was going to be like, I like women. I realized I like women. And it was this TikTok video that made me realize that I liked women.
So she said it was a specific TikTok video or just watching?
She just said, I saw a TikTok video that made me realize that I like women. I don't know what TikTok video. She didn't put a link to it.
It could have just been
I wish it would have done.
Yeah, for real.
So
Was it just some big booty hoe, like a IG thought or a TikTok thought?
But I started thinking to myself, okay, that's a huge sacrifice, right? I get it. Y'all were best friends before, because I feel like my husband and I are best friends, right? I also feel like should anything ever, which I don't like to ever like put that out there, because I feel like when you speak about it, it's,
Sure.
I feel like I love him enough to where it would be like, listen, so like we already know how we work with each other. You know what I'm saying? As far as like work is concerned, like I know how you feel about having having a manager. I mean, I pretty much have only worked here for the last, 8-7 years. So it's kind of like, can we still be work partners? You see what I'm saying? I think I'd be, unless he cheated.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd be able to do that. But if cheating was not involved and it was just maybe communication or other things that just stopped happening, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I could still be work partners. Now, we could not live in the same household.
That's what I was about to get to.
I wouldn't be able to tolerate knowing that my husband is seeing someone else. Like, so how is that going to work when they start dating? When she and I think it's different for a guy watching their two girls together. It's kind of more of a, oh, I wonder what they're doing in their bedroom. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But I don't
go on.
But I don't know from a female's perspective, like if her husband is now bringing another female home, you know what I'm saying? Like, and do you bring them home because isn't that confusing to your children? Like, wait, my mom's got a girl in her room and my dad's got another girl in his room. Like,
I don't know.
At what point does it become where you decide like, okay, so I want to pursue my relationship with my new partner and it's a little bit disrespectful, like, or did y'all just really legit make this concrete decision of, which she didn't talk about, right? So, when we start dating, it's like, should you want to be with your partner, you have to stay at their place. You can't come here. Should it turn into you want to marry again this next person? What happens then? How will you co-parent then? Are we still going to live in the same household as one happy family? So that there's no like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that your child doesn't grow. I think sometimes we as parents think that there's, I don't know if that'll jack the kids up more, like knowing.
Do you know where they live, where they're from? Because that sounds like a total West Coast kind of thing.
I think she is. I don't know where she lives.
So, and I've heard other, people that are like influencers of sorts that have similar kind of situations. I can't see that ever really working out. Like, it sounds so. And by the way, I hope to be the guy, the voice of reason here. Sometimes I'm sure that some of the things I say are not what women want to hear or that ladies are going to want to hear, but it comes from an honest place. There's no way that works. Like, it sounds super progressive, and it sounds like the right thing to do, right, for the kids is stay together in the same house, like have them have structure, whatever that even means. I mean, it's not going to be normal anymore. Like, you're better off showing them what you're going to do. I would imagine that one of the reasons for splitting up also is to have the best, like turnout for the kids. If you don't get along, if you don't find each other attractive, if you don't find each other, she might not like the look of his face. Like, why would you still be in the same house? Like, it's going to make you a worse parent if you're always like, oh, I wish my fucker wasn't here.
Well, they don't dislike each other. It's the crazy thing. So she says basically, I don't see where they, she lives in Florida.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, that kind of also explains it.
Yeah, because there's a picture here with her and her sister. And she's saying she's always lived in Georgia, which is her sister, and I've always lived in Florida. So she lives in Florida. I guess for me is this. I don't want to see my ex with a new person. Eventually, obviously, it's not so much that you care, like, because I'm just going to give an example. I don't care who my ex is with.
Yeah.
There's nothing there, right? Eventually, I'm sure that's what happens when you divorce. You're obviously divorcing for a fucking reason. You don't want to be with that person anymore. And you don't give an F who they're dating now. Mm-hmm. But you also don't want to see your ex and their new partner in your household. Like, is that not like weird?
Yeah, for sure it's weird.
Like, I don't know. Like, I was reading that and I was like, okay, I'm not trying to be judgy because to each its own, right? Mm-hmm. Like, whatever's going to work for you. But in the long run, what does this really do to your children? Are you living in a lie now? Now you're lying to them? Or do you sit them down? Are you going to sit them down eventually and say, listen, your dad and I are not together? Because obviously they're going to see, because there are other things that are important. Like, they're going to see that they're not affectionate, right? Mm-hmm. That they're not kissing each other or holding each other, or,
or in the same room as
exactly, because he doesn't sleep in the same room. So is that?
Do you know how old they are?
They're little kids.
Little.
The one's like a baby, and then the other one's like a toddler.
Oh, wonderful! That should be the best time to split up.
So?
That way, they don't know anything else.
Yeah.
If they wouldn't know a different lifestyle if you just went ahead and separated and found someone else.
Right, and so I feel like, for example, Mickey, when my husband split from his ex, right, which they weren't married, but they were together, right? She was 2, going on 3 or something like that. Mm-hmm. So she has like no memory of her parents together, right? But she has a bunch of memories of her and I, of Chingo and I together. So she sees what a household with, you know what I'm saying?
Both
like
parents.
both parents are.
Yeah.
Because she has said to me before, like, I'm so glad my sisters are growing up with you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll never know what it's like to have to pick between going to my mom's or going to my dad's. She's like, I'm glad they'll never have to experience that. And obviously that hurts me to hear that, you know what I'm saying? Because that's got to suck for her, because she wants to be with us, to be with her sisters, but she obviously misses her mom too, you know, which is natural, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, in the long run, but it's like Pete said, I would have done more harm to my child. We couldn't stand each other anymore.
Yeah.
She would have grown up in a super hostile like environment, you know? I didn't want that for her, you know? We couldn't stand each other. We're always fighting. So it's kind of like, okay, so in this situation, they're not fighting though. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They get along great. They're still best friends. Her post today was, and it was crazy because all the posts, the women were super supportive, which is how you should be. I'm not, and that's the thing. I'm not dogging that she decided to go be with a female. That's not even the question here. The thing is, could you, my listeners, be able to live in the same household with the person you no longer want to be with, just to continue to run your home the way it was running, although you're not physically attracted to him anymore, although that's not what you want anymore. You don't want to be with the man, you want to be with the female. and not let's take that out of the equation. You just don't want to be with that person anymore, right? They no longer do that for you. And she said in her blog that she realized why relationships in her past didn't work. The minute the butterfly of feeling went away, she was done with the relationship. It was like, okay, this is boring. Like, I got to move on. You know what I'm saying? So she feels like they only held their excitement for a little bit, and then it just got dull after that. And there was no desire to be with them. So she says that she feels like she liked women maybe before, but didn't really know it until TikTok.
CCP at it again.
Wow. So I was like, okay, so she's been with other men and stuff, but she just felt like the excitement was only because it was something within her. But today's, post was, it's unconventional to separate without anger, distrust, or fighting, but we've been already living this life as roommates. So she feels that they were already roommates, which I can relate to with my ex. We've proven to ourselves and to our children that this is a happy home. No yelling, no fighting. So see, no drama. We communicate our feelings and tackle the days as they come, like we always have as a team.
This is always obviously all from her perspective, though.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, and he's in the bed with her. The child's in the middle. She looks like she just finished breastfeeding. She's in underwear and her coffee cup.
A man will do anything for a woman that he loves, including something that stupid.
Ooh.
I would go
so
far. I would go to the craziest extremes for the people that I love. Obviously, like significant others being the main point that we're talking about. I could see myself doing something ridiculous like that.
So true.
Because I try to be as level-headed as possible, and I'm like, okay, if this is what we need to do right now in the interim, it's going to get me back where I want to be. With my kids, with my wife, married in one household. I give this 6 months, and then you're going to have a nasty post, whoever the guy is, right? It's just, that doesn't brew. That's not, you want to talk about a nuclear household? That doesn't brew for a positive nuclear household. You want to keep structure? That's not the way you keep structure.
Very good point. But somebody who's living that would probably argue with you and be like, it's working out great.
Yeah, I say do it as long as it works out, for sure. But there's a breaking point to everything. And once she starts bringing whoever the new lady's over, or however that goes, like, I mean, you just got to be a little logical when you come to something like that. And your kids are babies right now, essentially. But once they start talking and moving and asking questions and doing things and activities and who's coaching and who's driving to school and who's driving to no way.
Totally. Yeah, because I was thinking about it because obviously, guys, it's like, damn, girl, what are you doing? Yeah, that's what I've been doing, guys, as I try to recover.
In the shower? That you put in your little contraption on the wall?
Exactly. I'm like, what? Because she's a big breastfeeding person. She's also a very positive mom. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she'll post things like, about like how mom life is. Like she thought that she's always been a stay-at-home mom. She's had the luxury of always doing that. She thought that she was unhappy, right? So she decided to put her kids in daycare and she went back to work. Well, she misses her kids. She realized that going back to work wasn't the thing that she was missing. So all these posts that were leading up to this, hey, I've realized that I like female. That's it's been empty in me. That's what I've been missing. We're just kind of like, oh, that's interesting, right? Because I think a lot of women who are stay-at-home moms then decide to go back to work do miss their kids, but it's because that was been your job for however long you've done it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that I could be a stay-at-home mom. I don't know that I have it in me. But I do envy, in a good way, not a bad way, moms who do get to stay at home because they don't miss not one not one thing that their kid does. You know what I'm saying? I'll use the example of when Penny started eating solids. We were out of town. And I remember I got the picture and I'm sorry, not a picture, it's a video. And she set up the video. Luisa obviously did it because she didn't want me to miss anything, any milestones that she's taken, right? And I just remember watching it. I'm like, and I look at Pete and I know what y'all are thinking, like, oh, I'm sure you're able to stay home. Yes, I am. If I really wanted to, I could be a stay-at-home mom. It's financially, like, let's just I'm not saying that, right? But financially, it also works better when we're both working, like any, right? And maybe that's being selfish. Like, damn,
it's not selfish, it's ambition.
Yeah, it's like, what? So the money y'all have right now is not enough? Yes, it is. You know what I'm saying? But is it nice when it's more?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Because I'm able to do more for my children. I'm able to do more or we're able to do more for my family. Not me, but we as a team. You know what I'm saying? So when I saw the video, I just remember thinking like, wow, like you should be the one to have experienced that first with her. And when I showed Pete, I remember him being like, oh, that's so cute. Like there was no like, oh, I missed this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that's the difference between a mom and a dad.
Yes.
And that's the difference between why men cannot have babies. I'm just going to put it out there.
You better bite your tongue. That is changing as the years go on.
It's just that motherly thing. You know what I'm saying? That you just feel like I missed out on that. That should have been me. I should have been the one experiencing that. And then it was kind of like, oh, but also Penny, like I have money saved aside for you because we're out here working. You know what I'm saying? We have things set aside for you because we're working. Same thing with Mickey. Same thing with now Sunny. You know what I'm saying? She's going to have that account hasn't been opened yet, but there we go. There's going to be a new account that needs to be opened for her because she's another child now that we have, you know? So those are things that I think about. And it's like, as a working mom, it's kind of those things that you kind of like the guilt, you know? And then I'm sure those moms that stay at home have the guilt of like, well, damn, I wish I could go do my own shit too. You know what I'm saying? Like your husband comes home from work. Must be nice to be out chit-chatting with adults while all I get to do is, you know, be here. Then you have some moms who like are just natural, like stay-at-home moms. Have you ever met someone like that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. It's like, damn, how are you so fucking perfect at it? From like how to handle every situation, like has the house clean, like and here's the thing, Rob. Scheduling is so important. And like, I've realized that obviously now with having two, where it's like, okay, remember how I used to talk about, like, I just can't get up at, like Marissa does, where she gets up super early to have a few minutes to herself. Okay. So because I have to get up so early for that feeding, that's about 5 a.m. for Sunny. Well, I'm freaking wide awake because I just sat there and fed someone for the last 30 minutes. So it's like, I'm awake, you know, good for you that you're asleep. But I just started thinking to myself, like, yeah, that might be your time. That might be your new thing. You're awake already. Get up, make yourself some coffee, and just sit there in silence for a little bit. Because guess what? Penny's about to wake up at 9. So there you go, you know. Yeah. And then Sunny's going to wake up right after that. So there's no more alone time by yourself until Luisa gets there and, you know, she takes over and so forth. So going back to marriage, right? And all that, because that's all part of it. It's like, it's so true. If you don't work together as a team, obviously this couple that I'm telling you guys about are on the internet, you know what I'm saying? But she's very open and she's very vulnerable, and she tells a world, 218,000 people that follow her, right? Her story. I wonder how many other people are also doing that. How many other marriages do those things to make it work? This is so random. But do you remember the Rula and Ryan show? Does that still happen? Is that still on? I don't even know.
I don't know, but I'm familiar with the show.
Okay. Do you remember they used to have a War of the Roses or something like that? Okay. Well, when I used to have a 9 to 5, right? That's what I would listen to on my way to work, right? And one time I listened to a daughter calling in to catch her dad. She thought her dad was cheating on her mom, right? We're talking about someone who's a daughter. I think she was a first year freshman in college. Okay. So she sends the flowers to her dad, right? Her dad totally sends them to another woman who is not her mom, right? And so she's like, I knew it. I knew you were cheating. And, you know, I can't believe you're doing this to my mom. My mom's so good to you. And he's just quiet. He's like, can we talk about this off the air? no, she's livid. She's just telling them off, and they're quiet, right? Rula and Ryan, they're not saying shit. They're like, well, she's telling her, well, we sent these roses to you because your daughter thought that you were cheating. So he's just quiet. He's like, this is really a family matter. He's like telling her, Rula, right? And so then finally the daughter's like going off, and he got pissed, like almost like, little bitch, you done disrespected me a lot on live air. She goes, he's like, listen, your mom and I have been divorced for years. We've been living in the same household, and we decided that we were going to stay together in the same household until you graduated high school so that you could live a regular 2-parent household and blah, 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 because they grew up like in divorced households and so forth, and had made like literally an agreement. They could date whoever they want, but they could never bring those people to their home. And it was like when they were out, they were out of town for work, when they would be going with their partners. There was it was a lot that they sacrificed. The people that they dated during those times never got it. So a lot of the times neither one of them had like legit relationships. She graduated high school. So now the parents were like, finally, we're going to do this thing, and we're going to be able to be with whoever we want to be. The mom and the dad were still hunky dory. Like they would still, get along. They'd, everything. The only reason I know the whole scoop is because they had her back on and she kind of told the story, and she was like, I felt really bad. I felt really bad that my parents did that. They gave up so much for me. She was an only child. She's like, they gave up so much for me. Like, I can only imagine how miserable they were. Like, and she's like, but my mom and my dad both said that they weren't miserable, that this was a sacrifice they made for their daughter. They didn't want them to know what it felt like to go from one house to another house. And you know what I'm saying? Because they did that as kids. So it was really interesting, right? The things parents do.
Yeah, for sure.
For their children. So I guess it can work for some people.
Yeah, I mean, there's always, there's exceptions, right? There's exceptions and outliers, but if we're talking about the rule here, I think we all know what the rule is for the most part.
And I wonder if that's a cultural thing too. Like, would a Hispanic, is it easier? Is it that Americans, not white people or black people, I'm talking about Americans because we have an American lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Is it easier for Americans to be more open-minded versus culturally Hispanics? Would that fly with them?
What's funny about America, though, is like it's the biggest melting pot in the world. Like, go find another country where you have this kind of a mishmash of people. Like, as Americans, like, we just bring all these different values from different parts of the world to this one piece of land and call ourselves Americans, right? But if you're just talking about Hispanics in general, or Latinos or whatever, or Latinxes, if you want to call yourself that, I'm just kidding.
That's another subject I have.
Yeah. No, there's just no way that flies. Absolutely no way. That is the furthest from what we are raised to believe and see.
I mean, look at my parents. There's no way they would have been in the same household.
Yeah.
Absolutely no way.
And then there's who's to say that was a better outcome, right? Like what they saw from a split up family versus trying to make it, pretend.
And I wonder how long my parents maybe weren't happy or were, you know what I'm saying? Or I don't know. Did it just happen? Because I was a lot older when they divorced. I was 15. My sister was already 12. So we were older. I think we were past what I would consider maybe the like that age where you're molding your kids. Yeah. Where you've already kind of molded the child into what maybe they're going to, you know what I'm saying? Like you've given them enough structure. I was 15. I think that I was pretty old enough to understand what was happening. I think my sister, it affected her a little bit more because she was still not as old, you know what I'm saying? But marriage is complicated. Marriage is tough. Like, and it's like we are so quick to divorce now. Yet there's people who are out there making it work the way they are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it is. Oh, I thought I heard somebody knock. It is tough, and I used to say before that like it shouldn't be a lot of work, and I still believe that. I firmly believe that it's not supposed to be a grind. You're not supposed to be grinding it out with your spouse, right? But it does take effort, and it's like a mutual effort, right? Everything has to be 100-100. You can't just be 50-50 on everything because you're just never going to find that exact split down the middle. So if you're both putting in that 100%, then it's going to work out for the most part. But dude, it takes some serious effort.
Well, it's like that one lady says, a marriage is like a business.
Yeah. I mean, it literally starts with a legal contract. You know?
Facts.
Yeah. Like people that don't want to look at it that way are just they're living in their own dream world. Like that's just not how you can look at it.
It's just like it's literally it's a business. Like you have to sit down and figure out what's not working with you for you guys, which is the weeding, like the pastor said. And then you have to implement things as you listen to each other that you would like and that you would like.
Yeah.
So that your business can grow, which means your marriage can grow.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're not sitting down evaluating it quarterly, annually, whatever it is, then obviously all that's going to happen is you're going to start keeping track of all the wrongs.
Yeah.
And all the shitty things that aren't working. And then here comes that one day, whether it be for him or for her, right? Where somebody starts whispering, you know, sweet nothings to you. And then you're like, my husband don't do that. Well, my wife don't do that, right? And then it just becomes easy to cheat or, you know what I'm saying? Or you're missing like the compliments, you know what I'm saying? I think that I've heard that a lot. Actually,
yeah.
When I used to teach Zumba, where like women, when they started feeling better about themselves, it was like, yeah, my husband doesn't compliment me. Instead, he thinks I'm doing this to cheat. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what kind of
backward ass thinking is that?
Yeah, I'm like, you would think he'd be like, oh, my wife's about to be fine. You know, not that she wasn't fine before, but you know, I mean, you start to notice these amazing, like her body's changing. You know, her attitude is different. She feels good about herself. You know, so obviously it only is going to benefit you.
Yeah, you can't put a price tag on it.
She's probably going to want to be intimate with you now because she didn't want to be intimate before because she wasn't happy with her body. You see what I'm saying? There's so many benefits to a woman feeling good. And instead of a man bashing her or feeling insecure because he's insecure about himself, you know what I'm saying? It turns into something else, you know? And so I just feel like, for example, I've always felt like there's no reason for divorce. I think everything is fixable except for cheating. Cheating for me is one of those that's really tough. Because I know my personality, and although I may like it, sign language, they do this like you put it in the back of your head, right? I know my personality, and should you do something to F up again, that's the first thing I'm gonna spit out at you. Although I put it back here, I've tried to forget about it, right? I know that I'd be the type to be like, oh yeah, so is that what you were doing? You know what I'm saying? Or I bet you didn't do that with, you know what I'm saying? I can see myself doing that because it still makes you wonder, you know, is that why did he cheat? What, as a woman, I would think, like me personally, I guess, and mind you, I can't say that I cared in the past if you cheated on me because I was probably doing the same to you because I never had serious relationships. Like I said, my husband is legit my only second real relationship.
I can relate
100%. So I told my mom and I had this conversation about like how a woman can let a man just take over their life so much to where even after a few years, they're still bitter about their situation or their divorce or, you know what I'm saying, about their ex. You know what I'm saying? I told my mom, I was like, I don't know what it's like to be insanely heartbroken because I'd be lying to you, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what that feels like because my attitude towards men prior to you know, my ex and my husband, I didn't care. Because for me, my goal at that time was I need to finish school. I need to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. Men to me was like way at the end of my accomplished to-do list. Does that make sense? To me, I was so focused on me and making sure I was right because I wasn't going to depend on nobody, right? That
Andy.
Exactly. So I never allowed a relationship to flourish. I never allowed a relationship to like be more than what it was for the temporary case, right? But I feel like my personality type, I would be sad for a little bit, right? because I'm somebody who's very analytical, I'm balanced, right? And so I'll probably sit there and analyze it like, okay, what did I do wrong? What could we have done differently? Was I exaggerating a situation? Maybe it really wasn't that big of a deal. I do that sometimes now when I get, like, when I'm mad at Pete, I'm like, is it that big of a deal? Why are you so mad about it? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just like, I'm over it. It's almost like bipolar. You know what I'm saying? That's why sometimes I don't even like get mad. I just stay quiet. Like I'll just be quiet for a little bit because in my head, I'm like, honestly, like doing this. Like, again, I'm signing because this is how you do it. It's almost like you're like deciphering it. Oh, okay, that's not really a good enough reason. Oh, okay, like really.
It's that GIF
like,
where you see all the mathematical equations
exactly.
coming
It's
at you.
exactly. It's just like, okay, is it? It's really that. It's really dumb. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, are you really mad about it? And that's what I do. That's why I like, you know, I don't stay mad. I can't be mad till the next day.
Yeah.
It's just because I probably sat there and analyzed it for a hot minute and been like, this is really dumb. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that personally, I would be sad for a little bit, but I can't say that I would let him take over years of my life.
To go back to what you're saying about like the only thing that, you know, divorce would be the only thing. I agree and I disagree. I think that like short of, it could be anything, honestly. It could be anything that you want to divorce for, just because sometimes, and I know these people in these situations, I know the person that I'm with now, you get together at a young age and you feel like you're aligned on certain things. You feel like you're going in the same trajectory. And then all of a sudden you both grow up and you are going in different directions. You become different people.
Do you think that's at any age or that's when you date someone or marry young?
I think that could be at any age because let's say you hit your 20, just as another example that I know, you hit your mid-20s and then you want to go do something completely different than what you started doing at 20, right? Or even at you're 25 and then at 30. If that person doesn't want to follow you along on this like risky endeavor or doesn't want to sacrifice X, Y, and Z, it's probably just not going to work out, right? Like there just comes a certain point in time where you have to say, this is a line in the sand, you're either going to cross it with me or this is where our path ends, right? And Don's famous for saying that like people are in your life for seasons, reasons, and lifetimes. And some of these people that you think are there for a lifetime was just a seasonal thing.
Yeah, I can see that. I feel that happens more when you're young. I feel like that's kind of what happened to my parents.
Yeah, like high school sweethearts and stuff. I always say that you got to be so lucky for that to work out.
Okay, hello, Cardenas crew.
Oh yeah,
They've been together forever. And they have kids together. And they're super young. And they're thriving.
Yeah.
I mean, that's super duper rare.
Super. I know 2 of those couples in my life, and it's just like the rarest thing.
I could never imagine being with any of the guys that I dated in high school.
No.
No.
I mean, my high school girlfriend was hot, but she was
I mean,
not.
physically, okay, but I'm talking about like,
No way.
and I've seen where they're at now.
Exactly.
And I'm just like, oh my God.
Dodged a bullet.
I could not have imagined life with that person.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, you know what I'm saying?
God.
Exactly. Like, no. But there are people out there who can be high school sweethearts and still together. So I have a friend whose aunt has been with her husband since they were 13 years old. Okay, Pete's sister. I mean, they've been boyfriend and girlfriend since they were in middle school, and then they broke up and they got back together in high school. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, they've been together forever, and they're still like, or at least from what I see, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they still love each other. Like, you know, like she's still gaga over him. You know, like we have a group text, and when Pete invited his brother-in-law to go to the. What's his name, to Schultz show? He sent the picture in the group of her husband and Schultz together.
Yeah.
And she's like, look how hot you know what I'm saying? So little things like that. It's like they're still gaga over each other. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, their relationship also has been where he's worked out of the country for several months and she was going there to visit ever so often. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, they've even had, you know what I'm saying? So they've made it through all that, because I can imagine like having a relationship like that, and it works for a lot of people. You know,
Love's a beautiful thing, man.
It's crazy. That's what I'm saying. Like, I was really thinking about marriage, and then obviously because I saw the sermon yesterday, and I was like, marriage works the way you make it work, and it works differently for everybody. Just like it works differently for this couple that I'm telling you guys from social media, right? And we just totally gossiped about. I
Yeah.
mean, she put it out there. It ain't like I'm
Yeah, it's
gossiping
public
about it.
knowledge.
She totally made a whole blog about it. So you can go out over there to read it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, it's like, it's just a really interesting thing. It's really interesting too how sometimes social media can make marriage seem like it's a thing of the past. Like, who gets married now? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a thing. I mean, Rob, you not too long ago still felt that way.
Yeah. Marisol and I, when we first met, we were talking about this a lot. And for the first year, maybe year and a half, I was like, yeah, no, this, that, and the other. And here I am, married with 2 children, 2 bonus babies.
What made you realize that?
Going back to what I said, man, love makes you do crazy things, right? And at the point in time where I was already in my later 20s. I had done all the same partying that you've talked about. You'd been dipping and dapping in all kinds of areas and in all kinds of places and spaces.
Damn, Rob, you're making me seem like a hoe. I didn't say all that.
Hey, I got the clips. I can make a compilation of how many times Marisol said she was at the dance, just on the dance floor doing her thing, living her best life. But once you move past that and you realize that, if you have these lofty goals, that building, the dream team is kind of the best way to get to them. Not to say it's the only way, but I feel like not only is it the best way, but once you get what you want, you can enjoy the fruits of your labor with that person.
Yeah, I agree 100% because I 100% feel like that about my husband.
Yeah. I told this last night to Dons, we were falling asleep. I was like, we're both like tired. We did a lot yesterday. And I just randomly, we were talking about something earlier in the day. And then I just I whispered kind of sort of like, it's been 5 years and I don't hate you.
Yeah, we just made 7 years, Pete and I.
Nice. Congrats.
7 together, 3 married.
Cool.
So it's crazy because he said, what if I would have told you, he always jokes this, and he says, what if I would have told you when I met you, we're going to get married and have 2 kids together? I'd been like, I probably would have been like, weirdo.
You
I'm
wish.
out of her.
You
You
wish.
wish. Yeah, exactly. But it's crazy, right? That I told Pete I want to go do a photo shoot of him and I together at the same spot where he asked me for my phone number, like where we were talking as we exchanged phone numbers and bounced, right? Because the place still exists.
Nice.
And it's still there and it's in downtown, So I told him, I said, I think it'd be cool to just go do like with our phone, not like a legit photo shoot, but just like us out there. I want to find the same outfit.
Yeah.
And him wear the same outfit and post it again. You know how people will reenact the whatever? I really want to do that.
I've seen TikTok challenges where they do that.
Yeah. And so I really want to do that. I want to go take a picture there. I want him to, because he still has the same grill from that night. So I want him to do it. And it's crazy because Mickey, we were driving and I said, oh, Mickey, look, that's where me and your dad first met. And so she looked so confused. I think she thought did my dad cheat on my, mom? And she goes, wait a minute. So you knew my dad before my mom? Yep. Me and your dad exchanged phone numbers. You know what's crazy? 10 years.
Before? Oh, wow.
Because I had just moved back from College Station. I've told the story. He was just kicking it off. My friend, who is his friend also, had said, hey, come to the club. I'm like, what is there to do now? Because I went from going to bar, College Station's a small town, and it's you're going to a country club out there versus a hip hop club here. I'm like, hey, so I just moved back. What's popping? It's oh, my friend Chingo Blaine's gonna be performing tonight at Toke Bar. You should come by. I'm like, all right. Now it's my sister and my cousin. I'm like, hey, do you want to go with me? Because my friend invited me to this thing. And Chingo Blaine's performing. Excuse me. I only know one song of his. I'm like, and so they're like, yeah, let's do it. We all went and it was crazy. And we legit took a picture on a disposable camera. Exactly.
Just crank it.
Yeah.
From Hurricane Harry's to a Chingo Bling concert, huh?
Yep. And so then it was it was one of those things. And then it was here we are. And when we met, I was like, wait a minute. Oh, so when I told my girlfriend, I was like, I already met Chingo before. It's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? I almost felt like we already exchanged phone numbers. We never talked to each other anyway. So why would we talk now? Type of thing. And so it's funny because it's 10 years later. I mean, we met in 2014.
The rest is history.
And then we started dating in 2015. Well, pretty much right after that, we pretty much started dating. But, it was crazy. Isn't that
So I guess
weird?
for the listeners, come back on the Instagram feed when I make clips of all this and let us know. Could you live in the same household? Could you, all the questions that Marisol asked.
Yeah,
like,
could you live in
that?
in the same household as your ex now, right? Just to make it happen for your children, like so that. Again, I really wish that there was some kind of data of like how that really works out for children. Because again, if you don't see affection at home with your parents being affectionate to each other, you probably grew up being a non-affectionate person.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's where that childhood trauma starts.
Yeah. So I'm curious.
Let us know.
Let us know how long you've been married, how it's worked out for you. I wonder how other people assess their marriages.
And how do you view marriage after being
Yeah.
married for a little while?
Yeah. Like, I don't feel like I'm tired of, I know I've only been married, like only been together 7 years and married 3, but I literally texted this to Pete like 2 days ago, I think. Well, obviously because he's out of town, right? But like he was out of town. And I just said like, I said, I don't know if this is like weird to say this, but I feel like I love you more and more every day.
Yeah, I think in that same breath, I don't think she heard me, but after last night when I told Dawn that, I thought to myself, oh, I could easily make it to 10, but after 10, I don't know what's going to happen.
And I don't feel like, once I make it to, I don't see it like that. I feel like, oh my God, I really can't wait until we're like little old people together. Like, that's what I can't wait for. Cause I can't wait to like,
yeah,
I can't wait for it to be like us arguing over like who made the coffee, because that's all my grandparents had to argue about.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this coffee's not good. You know what I'm saying? It was so cute to watch them together. When my grandfather passed away, I really thought my grandmother was going to go because they were like, I mean,
yeah, mine did.
Yours did?
When
yeah.
he went like, I don't know, a month or two after.
I really thought my grandma was going to go, but I think my grandmother has a really, I don't know what her purpose is. Like, but I think she's here for a reason, because she's lost 3 kids and I can't imagine losing 1 kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, emotionally, and she's made it through that. And then her husband passed away and she's made it through that.
Oof.
So if that's not one strong mother.
On that note, that's powerful.
Exactly. So that's like, to me, it was like, man, my grandmother is a G. If I can be a G like that, just a little bit, I just want to take a little bit of that G and put it in my pocket, because that's a G, man. I was like, wow. But, you know, she made her marriage worked. And really, I think it was my grandfather was a smart man. He just kind of like went with the flow. Whatever my grandmother said went. He woke up. My grandmother had breakfast, lunch, and dinner for him at all times. His clothes was always washed. You know what I'm saying? They went to church together. They kept God first in their marriage. And they got married young.
Pretty good formula.
Yeah. So I feel like, oh, that was another thing. I think the way the pastor said was your marriage should be joy, which is Jesus first, right? Others, which means like others in your family, like, and then yourself. So basically, like, if you think of those 3 things, have those 3 things in your marriage, then you have joy. But if you do it the other way around, YOJ, and you're one of those who are selfish and you put yourself first, then others, then Jesus, right? Then you're probably a lost little soul.
That sounds like all of us when we're young.
Right?
Yeah.
When he said that, I was like, bro, listen to what else he said. Listen to whoever it is that you pray to, try this, because I want to try it with Pete. And I don't know if we can keep it up, right? Just because of the schedule that I'm on right now with this child of mine. But he said, if you pray together in the morning, it can be 1 minute, just like, thank you, God, for another day alive. Keep us safe. Amen. Just that simple, right? It didn't have to be this long, whole thing. And then you pray together again at night. He said that alone right there will keep you so grounded. So I really want to try it. I want to see if like...
I think we kind of do that, but we just kind of, I guess, more words of affirmation. Like every morning, when she heads out and I'm doing something or I head out, it's just like, high five, you got this, It's just every morning, like, you got this.
We don't do it every morning, but I definitely do it at every show that Pete has.
Well, yeah, that makes
That's like
sense too.
every time,
For sure.
right before he's going to go on stage, I give him like a gazillion words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Like it's a whole thing. I send him here recently, it's got to be by text, but usually I'll tell him in person. But because he's been going out of town, it's like I send him my prayer first. So it's like, I'm like, here's my prayer for you. And then the next after that, it's like, you're amazing. You're hilarious. You're very, and it's like all the words that you can think of. And then it's like, go kill it. And then it's like, it's just a heart and that's it. I'm like, all right, my G, you got this.
He reads that and it's like, here you go.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. So on that being said, guys, you got to be a team. Like, whatever it is that you do in order to make it work, you got to be a team.
Word. Patreon.com/Her Lounge podcast.
All right, guys. Patrons, don't forget, send me your info because I want to send out these boxes by Wednesday. You should have already gotten your box by now, but I don't have everyone's address. So send it in, guys. Thank you, guys. See y'all on Friday.